Hello everyone. In this class, we will study the essay written by Daniel Gulati. The Facebook is making us miserable. Facebook हमें दुखी बनाता है. Social media Facebook. About the author is Daniel Gulati. Daniel Gulati. Daniel Gulati is a venture capitalist and top-notch businessman and businessman focusing on seed and early stage investments in consumer internet companies. Investor. Additionally, Daniel's experience frequently leads him to work with startups that are redefining the future of retail and commerce. In this lecture, we will study the essay by Daniel Gulati. Facebook is making us miserable. Then MCQs. Then important questions. Then MCQs, and then PYQs, previous year questions and important questions. When Facebook was founded in 2004, Facebook was founded. It began with a seemingly innocuous mission. Innocuous mission means completely harmless mission. It connects to connect friends. It was launched to connect friends. Mission innocuous mission. Harmless mission. Completely harmless. Completely harmless mission. Innocuous mission to connect friends. Some 7 years and 800 million users later. 800 million users later, the social network has taken over most aspects of our personal and professional lives. Personal and professional life. And he's fast becoming the dominant communication platform of the future. But this new world of ubiquitous means seeming to be everywhere. Connections has a dark side. In my last post, I noted that Daniel Gulati saying I noted that he noted that Facebook and social media are major contributors to career anxiety. Career anxiety. After seeing some of the comments and reactions in the post, it's clear that Facebook in particular takes it a step further. It's actually making us miserable. Miserable means sad. दुखी बनाता है. But this making us miserable. Facebook explosive rate of growth and recent product releases such as the prominent news sticker, top stories on the news feed, and larger photos have all been focused on one goal, encouraging more sharing. As it turns out, it's precisely this hyper sharing that is threatening our sense of happiness. threatening our sense of happiness. In writing passion and purpose, I monitored he and Daniel Gulati monitored and observed how Facebook was impacting the lives of hundreds of young business people. As he went, Gulati, as I went about my research, it became clear that behind all the behind all the liking, commenting, sharing, and posting, there were strong hints of jealousy. Hints of jealousy, anxiety, and in one case, depression. Said one interviewee about a Facebook friend, although he is my best friend, I kind of despise his updates. Despise means despise means dislike. A strong feeling of dislike for someone or something. Dislike. Despise his updates. Although he is my friend, I kind of despise his updates, said another. Now Facebook is my workday. As I dug deeper, I discovered disturbing byproducts of Facebook's rapid ascension. Ascension means the action of rising to an important position or a higher level. Three new distressing where ways in which the social media giant is fundamentally altering our daily sense of well-being in both our personal and work lives. First, it's creating a den of comparison. Comparison. Since our Facebook profiles are self-curated, users have a strong bias towards sharing positive milestone and avoid avoid mentioning in the more humdrum negative parts of their lives. Accomplishments like, hey, I just got promoted, or take a look at my new sports car. Trump sharing the intricacies of our daily commute or a life shattering divorce. This creates an online culture of competition and comparison. Competition. One interview even remarked, I am pretty competitive by nature, so when my close friend post good news, I always try and one up them. Comparing ourselves to others is a key driver of unhappiness. Tom DeLonge, author of Flying Without a Net, even describes a comparing trap. He writes, no matter how successful we are and how many goals we achieve, this trap causes us to recalibrate our accomplishments and reset the bar for how we define success. And as we judge the entirety of our own lives against the top 1% of our friend lives, We are setting impossible standards for ourselves, making us more miserable than ever. बहुत ज़्यादा दुखी बना देता है सैड comparisons or competition. Second, it's fragmenting our time. Second, first, second, it's fragmenting our time. It's fragmenting our time. Not surprisingly, Facebook horizontal strategy encourages users to log in more frequently from different devices. My interviews regularly access Facebook from the office, at home through their iPads, and will out shopping on their smartphones. This means that hundreds of millions of people are less present where they are, sketching out a mind numbing preservation for the board meeting. Perhaps it's time to reply to your message. Stuck in traffic, it's time to browse your newsfeed. Recounted one interview. I almost got hit by a car while using Facebook crossing the road. Almost got hit by a car while using Facebook. Crossing the street. One interview said, recounted one interview. I almost got hit by a car while using Facebook crossing the road street. Leaving the risks of real physical harm aside, the issue with the constant tabbing between real life tasks and Facebook is what economists and psychologists call switching costs. Economists and psychologists call switching costs. Switching costs. The loss in productivity. Loss in productivity. Associated with changing from one task to another. Famed author Dr. Sri Kumar Rao attributes mindfulness over multitasking as one of his 10 steps to happiness at work. He argues that constant distractions lead to late and poor quality output, negatively impacting our sense of self-worth. Constant distraction leads lead to late and poor quality output, negatively impacting our sense of self-worth. Leaving the risks of real physical harm aside, the issue with the constant tabbing between real life tasks and Facebook is what economics and psychologists call switching costs. The loss in productivity associated with changing from one task to another. Found famed author Dr. Sri Kumar Rao. Dr. Sri Kumar Sri Kumar Rao attributes mindfulness over multitasking as one of his 10 steps to happiness at work. He argues that constant distractions lead to late and poor quality output, negatively impacting our sense of self worth. Last, there's decline of close relationship. Decline of close relationships. Gone are the days where Facebook merely complemented our real life relationships. Now, Facebook is actually winning a share of our core offline interactions. One participant summed it up simply: we Facebook chat instead of meeting up. It's easier. As Facebook adds new features such as video chat, it is fast becoming a able to work. Viable means able to work as intended. Viable substitute for meetings, relationship building, and even family get-togethers. But each time a Facebook interaction replaces a richer form of communication, such as an in-person meeting, a long phone call, or even a date at a restaurant. Viable substitute for meetings. Relationship building, and even family get-togethers in video chat. But each time a Facebook interaction replaces a richer form of it replaces richer form of communication, such as in-person person meeting, a long phone call, or even a date, or even a date at a restaurant, offline meeting, restaurant. People miss opportunities. People miss opportunities to interact more deeply than Facebook. could ever accommodate more deeply, interact more deeply than Facebook could ever accommodate. As Facebook continues to add new features to help us connect more efficiently, the battle to maintain offline relationships will become even more difficult, which will impact their overall quality, especially in the long run. Facebook is negatively affecting what psychology professor Jeffrey Parker refers to as Jeffrey Parker refers to as the closeness properties of friendship. The closeness properties of friendship. So what should we do to avoid these three traps? Recognizing that quitting Facebook altogether is unrealistic. Quitting Facebook is unrealistic. We can still take measures to alter our users' patterns and strengthen for real-world relationships. Some user useful tactics I have seen including blocking out designated time for Facebook rather than visiting intermittently in a way that does not happen regularly or continuously throughout the day. Selective trimming Facebook friend lists to avoid undesirable ex-partners, to gossip co-workers, and investing more time in building offline relationship. Trimming, selectively trimming. Select some useful tactics, useful tactics, blocking out designated time for Facebook rather than visiting intermittently, rather than visiting intermittently throughout the day. The day. Selectively trimming friends, Facebook friends lists to avoid undesirable ex partners and gossip co workers, and investing more time in building offline relationships. The particularly the the courageous, choose to delete Facebook. Courageous choose to delete Facebook from their smartphones and iPads. Delete Facebook. Some courageous choose to delete Facebook from their smartphone iPads and log off the platform and log off the platform entirely for long stretches of time. Platform entirely for long stretches of time. The conclusion is this the text is published in the Harvard Business Review. This persuasive article explores the problems of constant social networking. We all know that Facebook was initiated to connect with friends virtually. Indeed, it has taken over most aspects of our personal and professional lives, and is arguably the dominant communication platform of our times. However, in this article, Gulati says that this new world of ubiquitous connections has a dark side as well. He mentions three distressing ways in which the social media giant is fundamentally playing a key role in altering our personal and professional lives for the worse. According to the first paragraph, how many people use Facebook? According to first paragraph, 800 million people use Facebook. 800 people. Said one interview about Facebook friend, although he's my friend, I kind of despise his updates and despite his updates, the interview in this assessment displays which kind of qualities? Sympathy, compassion, empathy, no, jealousy. Which feature of Facebook is fast becoming a viable substitute for meetings? Video chat. How does Gulati suggest we after use Facebook? After our Facebook uses, blocking out designated time for Facebook, yes. Select trimming for Facebook list friend list to avoid undesirable ex-partners and gossip workers. Yes. Investing more time in building offline relationships. Yes. All of this. According to the author, only a courageous people who is already accustomed to Facebook will have the guts to quit the social media app. Courageous. Provide a biography detail of Daniel Gulati, the author of the Facebook is making us miserable. Author, businessman, and investor. Author, businessman, and investor. Daniel Gulati is well known for his perspectives on technology, entrepreneurship, and consumer behavior. Known for perspective. Perspective on technology. Entrepreneurship. Consumer. Harvard University awarded Daniel Gulati a bachelor's degree in sociology and economics. Awarded him a BA in BA degree in sociology and economics. Later, he pursued an MBA at Harvard University. Later, he pursued pursued MBA at Harvard Business School. Business School, where he was named a Baker Scholar and graduated with honors. Gulati co-founded Fashion Stake, an online marketplace that linked up and coming designers with buyers after earning his MBA. Later, Fab.com acquired the business, signaling the company's successful foray into the startup and entrepreneur arenas. Gulati has also held a consulting position with MC Kinsey and Company, which he provided business strategy and growth initiative advice to clients in the consumer goods, technology, and finance sectors. Daniel Gulati is well known for his articles and studies on entrepreneurship, technology, and trends and consumer behavior. In addition to writing for magazines like Harvard Business Review, he co-wrote the well-known piece The Dangers of Social Media Snark. He co-wrote the well-known piece The Dangers of Social Media Snark alongside Oliver Segovia and Max H. Bezerman. The psychological He co-wrote the well-known piece The Dangers of Social Media Snark. The psychological effects of social media on well-being are examined in his essay Facebook is Making Us Miserable. Effects of social media on well-being are examined in his essay Psychological on media on being are examined in his essay. Facebook is making us miserable, दुखी बनाता है फेसबुक हमें, which attracted a lot of attention for insights into how websites like Facebook affect our sense of happiness and self-worth. Gulati has invested in and advised stage firms in addition to his own business endeavors. His background as an investor and entrepreneur gives him a true, true understanding of consumer-driven business and the startup environment. Speaking at conferences and gatherings, Gulati is in high demand to give his thoughts on technology, consumer trends, and entrepreneurship. He offers a special synthesis of rigorous academic research and real-world knowledge from his founding, expanding and consulting experiences with businesses. Daniel Gulati work has been characterized by a keen interest in entrepreneurship and psychology, as well as in understanding consumer behavior and using technology to spur innovation. His research and writings are still influencing conversations about how digital platforms affect society and people's quality of life. His research and writings are still influencing conversations about his research and writings about how digital platforms affect society and people's quality of life. Quality of life. Summarize the essay Facebook is Making Us Miserable by Daniel Gulati. The essay Facebook is Making Us Miserable by Daniel Gulati examines the possible that social media harm that social media sites like Facebook may do. That social media sites that Facebook may do to our mental health. Gulati contends that feelings of jealousy and comparisons are made worse by social media, especially Facebook. Jealousy and comparison are made worse by social media, especially Facebook. Users frequently present their greatest expressions and accomplishments, distorting reality and making others feel inadequate or unsatisfied with their own life. He discusses how social media profiles are like curated highlight reels, like reels showing only the positive aspects of one's life while omitting struggles, showing only positive aspects of of one's life will omitting the struggles and challenges. This can contribute to feeling of loneliness and isolation. This can contribute to feeling of loneliness and isolation. As individuals compare their everyday lives to the seemingly perfect lives of others, Gulati contends as individuals compare compare their everyday lives to the seemingly perfect lives of others. Gulati contends that a regular exposure to Facebook romanticized events and pictures can be detrimental to one's mental health. Reduced reduced self esteem, anxiety, and sadness may result from it, especially in fragile people who are more prone to comparing themselves to others. Gulati makes reference to social comparison theory. A social psychology theory that holds that people evaluate their own social and personal value by comparing themselves to other people. Because social media sites like Facebook are constantly available and persistent, these comparisons may become more intense. He talks about how people frequently utilize likes, comments, shares, and in on Facebook posts as a way to get validation and approval instead of concentrating on inner contentment and satisfaction. This validation seeking behavior has the potential to become addictive and set off a vicious cycle of speaking out external affirmation. Gulati offers a number of solutions to lessen the bad consequences of Facebook's use, such as setting time limits, prioritizing meaningful and good connection in one's feed, and being aware of the emotional toll that social media use takes. Overall, Gulati's essay make the case that although Facebook and other social networking sites promote social engagement and connectivity, they also pose risks to mental health since they encourage behaviors such as jealousy, comparison, and validation seeking. Facebook has Facebook was established in 2004 with the seemingly innocent goal of connecting friends. Facebook established in 2004 with seemingly innocent goal. Goal of connecting friends. After about 7 years and 800 million users, 800 million. After about 7 years and 800 million users, the social network has quickly 7 years and 800 million users. The social network has quickly risen to prominence as our primary medium for communication in the future and has taken over most facets of our personal and professional lives. Taken over over most facets of our personal and professional lives. There is a bad side to this new world of constant connectivity through users. The social network has quickly risen, quickly risen to prominence as primary primary medium for for communication in the future and has and taken over most facts of our personal and professional lives. There is a bad side of this new world of constant connectivity through. I said in my previous post that social media, particularly Facebook, plays a significant role in career anxiety. It's evident from reading some of the responses and comments on the post that Facebook, in particular, goes one step further. It's truly making us miserable. Facebook's rapid expansion and new product offerings like the eye-catching news sticker, the newsfeed top stories, and larger images are all aimed at promoting increased sharing. It turns out that our feeling of enjoyment is being threatened by this oversharing. I tracked and observed how Facebook was affecting hundreds of young entrepreneur lives. In order to write passion and purpose. As I conducted my investigation, it was evident that there were overt signs of jealousy, anxiety, and in one instance, despair beneath all the liking, commenting, sharing, and publishing. Regarding a Facebook buddy, one interview remarked, even though he is my best friend, I kind of hate his updates. Now Facebook is my work days. Someone other uttered, after doing more research, I found three new worrisome ways that Facebook quick rise is drastically affecting our everyday feeling of well-being in both our personal and professional life. Because Facebook users edit their own pages, they tend to share more good milestones and less about the mundane, unpleasant aspects of their lives. Their life achievements such as, hey, I just got promoted, or look at my new sports car, take precedence over discussing the nuances of our day-to-day commute, or going through a devastating divorce. This fostered a culture of comparison and rivalry online. I am pretty competitive by nature, so when my close friends post good news, I always try and one up them, said one respondent. A major source of dissatisfaction is comparing oneself to other people. In Flying Without a Net, author Tom DeLonge even mentions a comparing trap. He states that this trap causes us to recalibrate our accomplishment and reset the bar for how we define success, regardless of how successful we are or how many goals we achieve. We are also making ourselves miserable by holding ourselves to unreasonable standards. As we compare our entire lives to that of the top 1% of our friends, it should come as no surprise that Facebook's horizontal strategy promotes frequent logins from various devices. My interview frequently used their smartphones to access Facebook while shopping, when using their iPads at home and from the workplace. In other words, hundreds of millions of individuals are less present in their current location, making rough drafts of a dull presentation for the board meeting. It could be time for me to respond to your communications. Are you stuck in traffic? Go through your news feed now. Our interview related, I was using Facebook while crossing the street and I almost got hit by a car. Aside from the potential for actual physical harm, the problem with the continual tabbing between Facebook and real life tasks is what economists and psychologists refer to as switching costs, or the productivity loss that result from switching between tasks. Known writer Dr. Sri Kumar Rao lists mindfulness as one of his 10 strategies for happy workplace, preferring it to multitasking. The contents that persistent distractions impair our feeling of self-worth by causing us to produce work that is late and of low quality. Facebook used to only enhance our interactions in real life, but those days are long gone. Facebook is currently gaining ground on us in terms of our primary offline interactions. Our participant put in secondly, we talk on Facebook rather than in person. It's less complicated. With Facebook rolling out new capabilities like video chat, it's quickly taking the place of in-person meetings, networking events, and even family get-togethers. However, if Facebook Exchange takes the place of a more meaningful communication opportunity like a face-to-face meeting, an extended phone conversation, or even a dinner date, people lose out on chances to engage more profoundly than Facebook could possibly support. The struggle to sustain offline relationships will intensify as Facebook rolls out new tools to make connecting with each other easier. This will have an effect on the relationship's overall quality, particularly over time. According to psychology professor Jeffrey Parker, Facebook is having a negative impact on the closeness properties of friendship. डैनियल गुलाटी का निबंध, फेसबुक हमें दुखी बना रहा है। फेसबुक जैसी सोशल मीडिया साइटों द्वारा हमारे मानसिक स्वास्थ्य को होने वाले संभावित नुकसान की जांच करता है। गुलाटी का तर्क है कि सोशल मीडिया, विशेषकर फेसबुक द्वारा ईर्ष्या और तुलना की भावनाएं बढ़तर हो गई है। उपयोगकर्ता अक्सर अपने सबसे बड़े अनुभव और उपलब्धियों को प्रस्तुत करते हैं, वास्तविकता को विकृत करते हैं और इसको और दूसरों को अपने जीवन को अपर्याप्त या असंतुष्ट महसूस कराते हैं। वह चर्चा करते हैं कि कैसे सोशल मीडिया प्रोफाइल क्यूरेटेड हाईलाइट रीलों की तरह है, जो संघर्षों और चुनौतियों को छोड़कर किसी के जीवन के केवल सकारात्मक पहलुओं को दिखाते हैं। यह अकेलापन और अलगाव को भावनाओं में योगदान कर सकता है, क्योंकि व्यक्ति अपने रोजमर्रा की जीवन की तुलना दूसरों के आदर्श जीवन से करते हैं। गुलाटी का तर्क है कि फेसबुक की रोमांटिक घटनाओं और तस्वीरों का नियमित संपर्क किसी के मानसिक स्वास्थ्य के लिए हानिकारक हो सकता है। इसके परिणाम स्वरूप आत्मसम्मान में कमी, चिंता और उदासी हो सकती है, विशेषकर बाजुक लोगों में जो तुलना करने में अधिक प्रवृत्ति होते हैं। खुद को दूसरों के लिए गुलाटी सामाजिक तुलना सिद्धांत का संदर्भ होते हैं। एक सामाजिक मनोविज्ञान सिद्धांत जो मानता है कि लोग अन्य लोगों से अपनी तुलना करके अपने सामाजिक और व्यक्तिगत मूल्य का मूल्यांकन करते हैं। क्योंकि फेसबुक जैसे सोशल मीडिया साइटें लगातार उपलब्ध है, इसलिए ये तुलनाएं और अधिक तीव्र हो सकती है। वह इस बारे में बात करते हैं कि कैसे लोग अक्सर फेसबुक पोस्ट पर लाइक, कमेंट और शेयर का उपयोग सत्यापन और अनुमोदन प्राप्त करने के तरीके के रूप में करते हैं, आंतरिक संतुष्टि और संतुष्ट पर ध्यान केंद्रित करने के बजाय। इस मान्यता चाहने वाले व्यवहार में नशे की लत बनने और बाहरी पुष्टि की तलाश का एक दुष्चक्र शुरू होने की संभावना है। गुलाटी फेसबुक के उपयोग के बुरे परिणामों को कम करने के लिए कई समाधान प्रदान करते हैं, जैसे समय सीमा निर्धारित करना, किसी के फीड में सार्थक और अच्छे कनेक्शन को प्राथमिकता देना और सोशल मीडिया के उपयोग से होने वाले भावनात्मक नुकसान के बारे में जागरूक होना। कुल मिलाकर गुलाटी का निबंध यह बताता है कि यद्यपि फेसबुक और अन्य सोशल नेटवर्किंग साइटें सामाजिक जुड़ाव और कनेक्टिविटी को बढ़ावा देती है, लेकिन वे मानसिक स्वास्थ्य के लिए जोखिम भी पैदा करती है, क्योंकि वे ईर्ष्या, तुलना और सत्यापन की मांग जैसे व्यवहारों को प्रोत्साहित करती है। फेसबुक की स्थापना 2004 में दोस्तों को जोड़ने के मासूम लक्ष्य के साथ की गई थी। लगभग 7 वर्ष और 800 मिलियन उपयोगकर्ताओं के बाद सोशल नेटवर्क तेजी से भविष्य में संचार के प्राथमिक माध्यम के रूप में प्रमुखता से उभरा है और इसने हमारे व्यक्तिगत और व्यावसायिक जीवन के अधिकांश पहलुओं पर कब्जा कर लिया है। हालांकि निरंतर कनेक्टिविटी की इस नई दुनिया का एक बुरा पक्ष भी है। मैंने अपनी पिछली पोस्ट में कहा था कि सोशल मीडिया, विशेषकर फेसबुक, करियर की चिंता में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाता है। पोस्ट पर किसी प्रतिक्रियाओं और टिप्पणियों को पढ़ने से यह स्पष्ट है कि फेसबुक विशेष रूप से एक कदम आगे है। यह वास्तव में हमें दुखी कर रहा है। फेसबुक के तेजी से विस्तार और नए उत्पाद की पेशकश, जैसे आकर्षक न्यूज़फीड की शीर्ष कहानियां और बड़ी छवियों, सभी का उद्देश्य बढ़ी हुई साक्षात्करण को बढ़ावा देना है। इससे पता चलता है कि इस अधिक साझेदारी से हमारे आनंद की भावना को खतरा हो रहा है। पैशन एंड पर्पस लिखने के लिए मैंने ट्रैक किया और देखा कि कैसे फेसबुक सैकड़ों युवा उद्यमियों के जीवन को प्रभावित कर रहा है। जैसे कि मैंने अपनी जांच की, यह स्पष्ट था कि पसंद टिप्पणी साझा करने और प्रकाशित करने के पीछे ईर्ष्या, चिंता और एक उदाहरण में निराश के स्पष्ट संकेत थे। एक फेसबुक मित्र के बारे में एक साक्षात्कारकर्ता ने टिप्पणी की, हालांकि वह मेरा सबसे अच्छा दोस्त है, फिर भी मुझे उसके अपडेट से नफरत है। अब फेसबुक मेरा कार्य दिवस है। किसी अन्य ने कहा, अधिक शोध करने के बाद मुझे 3 नए चिंताजनक तरीके मिले जिनसे पता चलता है कि फेसबुक का तेजी से बढ़ना हमारे व्यक्तिगत और व्यवसायिक जीवन दोनों में हमारी रोजमर्रा की खुशहाली की भावना को काफी प्रभावित कर रहा है। क्योंकि फेसबुक उपयोगकर्ता अपने स्वयं के पेज संपादित करते हैं, वे अपने जीवन के सांसारिक अप्रिय पहलुओं के बारे में कम और अच्छे मील के पत्थर अधिक साझा करते हैं। उपलब्धियों जैसे अरे मुझे अभी अभी पदोन्नत किया गया है, प्रमोट किया गया है, या मेरी नई स्पोर्ट्स कार देखो। हमारे दैनिक आवागमन की बारीकियों या विनाशकारी तलाक से गुजरने पर चर्चा करने को प्राथमिकता दे। इससे ऑनलाइन तुलना और प्रतिद्वंद्विता की संस्कृति को बढ़ावा मिलता है। एक प्रतिवादी ने कहा, मैं स्वभाव से काफी प्रतिस्पर्धा प्रति हूँ, इसलिए जब मेरी करीबी दोस्त अच्छी खबर पोस्ट करते हैं तो मैं हमेशा उनसे आगे निकलने की कोशिश करता हूँ। असंतोष का एक प्रमुख स्रोत स्वयं की तुलना दूसरे लोगों से करना है। फ्लाइंग विथआउट ए नेट में लेखक टॉम डिलोंग्स ने तुलनात्मक जाल का भी उल्लेख किया है। वह कहते हैं, यह जाल हमें अपनी उपलब्धियों को दोबारा जांचने और सफलता के परिभाषित करने के तरीके को रिसेट करने के लिए प्रेरित करता है। भले ही हम कितने भी सफल हो या हम कितने लक्ष्य हासिल कर लें, हम अपने संपूर्ण जीवन की तुलना अपने शीर्ष 1% मित्रों के जीवन से करते हैं। इसलिए कोई आश्चर्य नहीं है होना चाहिए कि फेसबुक की क्षैतिज रणनीति विभिन्न उपकरणों से लगातार लॉगिन को बढ़ावा देती है। मेरे साक्षात्कारकर्ता अक्सर खरीदारी करते समय घर पर और कार्यस्थल से अपने आईपैड का उपयोग करते समय फेसबुक तक पहुंचने के लिए अपने स्मार्टफोन का उपयोग करते हैं। दूसरों शब्दों में, करोड़ों व्यक्ति अपने वर्तमान स्थान पर कम मौजूद हैं। बोर्ड मीटिंग के लिए एक नीरस प्रेजेंटेशन का रफ ड्राफ्ट बनाना, यह मेरे लिए आपके संचार का उत्तर देने का समय हो सकता है। क्या आप ट्रैफिक में फंसे हैं? अभी अपना न्यूज़फीड देखो। एक साक्षात्कारकर्ता ने बताया, मैं सड़क पार करते समय फेसबुक का उपयोग कर रहा था और लगभग एक कार की चपेट में आ गया। वास्तविक शारीरिक नुकसान की संभावना के अलावा फेसबुक और वास्तविक जीवन में के कार्यों के बीच इस निरंतर टैबिंग की समस्या को अर्थशास्त्री और मनोवैज्ञानिक स्विचिंग लागत या कार्यों के बीच स्विच करने के परिणाम स्वरूप होने वाली उत्पादकता हानि के रूप में संदर्भित करते हैं। जाने माने लेखक डॉक्टर श्री कुमार राव ने खुशहाल कार्यस्थल के लिए माइंडफुलनेस को अपनी 10 रणनीतियों में से एक बताया है और मल्टीटास्किंग की तुलना में एक प्राथमिकता दी है। उनका तर्क है कि लगातार ध्यान भटकने से हम देर तक से और कम गुणवत्ता वाला काम करने के कारण आत्म-मूल्य की भावना को खराब करते हैं। फेसबुक वास्तविक जीवन में केवल हमारी बातचीत को बढ़ाता था, लेकिन वो दिन अब चले गए हैं। फेसबुक वर्तमान में हमारे प्राथमिक ऑफलाइन इंटरेक्शन के मामले में हम पर बढ़त हासिल कर रहा है। एक प्रतिभागी ने संक्षेप में कहा, हम व्यक्तिगत रूप से नहीं बल्कि फेसबुक पर बात करते हैं। यह कम जटिल है। फेसबुक द्वारा वीडियो चैट जैसी नई क्षमताओं को पेश करने के साथ यह तेजी से व्यक्तिगत बैठकों, नेटवर्किंग कार्यक्रमों और यहाँ तक पारिवारिक सिर्फ पारिवारिक मिलन समारोह की जगह ले रहा है। हालांकि अगर फेसबुक एक्सचेंज अधिक सार्थक संचार अवसर की जगह लेता है, जैसे आमने सामने की बैठक, लंबी फोन पर बातचीत या यहाँ तक कि डिनर डेट, तो लोग फेसबुक की तुलना में अधिक गहराई से जुड़ने के अवसरों को खो देते हैं। ऑफलाइन रिश्तों को बनाए रखने के लिए संघर्ष तेज हो जाएगा, क्योंकि फेसबुक एक दूसरे से जुड़ना आसान बनाने के लिए नए टूल पेश कर रहा है। इसका रिश्तों की समग्र गुणवत्ता पर असर पड़ेगा, खासकर समय के साथ। मनोविज्ञान के प्रोफेसर जेफर पार्कर के अनुसार फेसबुक दोस्ती की निकटता के गुणों पर नकारात्मक प्रभाव डाल रहा है। Write a critical appreciation of Facebook is making us miserable by Daniel Gulati, or the same answer for this. Discuss Daniel Gulati argument regarding the role of social comparison in exacerbating feelings of dissatisfaction and inadequacy among Facebook users. How does Gulati support his claim that social media platforms like Facebook contribute to a distorted perception of reality? Provide examples and analyze the implications of these insights on individual mental health and societal well-being. Daniel Gulati makes a case that social networking sites like Facebook encourage users to compare themselves to their friends, which exacerbates feelings of inadequacy and unhappiness among Facebook users. According to Gulati, Facebook users frequently share a highlight reel of their lives that highlights their greatest expressions, accomplishments, and movement. Frequently share highlight reel of their lives. This selective sharing produces an idealized picture of reality that does not fully capture people's struggle. Doesn't does not care not fully capture people's struggle and everyday struggles. Users may experience feelings of inadequacy or dissatisfactions with their current situation when they control their life with this idealized portrayals. The social comparison theory, which contends that theory, social comparison theory, which contends that people gauge their own social and personal value by comparing themselves to others, forms the basis of his argument. Users of Facebook are continuously exposed to posting and updates from their social circle, which might result in social comparisons that are interpreted on either upward or downward, comparing oneself to people perceived or better situated. Comparing two things can lead to unfavorable psychological effects. Facebook allows users to quickly share their accomplishment and happy movement, which increases sentiments of jealousy and unhappiness among those who feel inadequate in comparison. This may result in a vicious loop of using social media interaction to seek approval and recognition, which might not be helpful for true happiness or well-being. According to Gulati, a user's self-esteem can be damaged and their emotion damaged, and their emotions of worry and sadness can be exacerbated by constantly being exposed to idealized photos and posts on Facebook. This is especially important for those who are more prone to making negative comparisons between themselves and other people. Gulati contends that social comparison on Facebook is a reflection of larger cultural conventions and societal influences rather than just personal experiences. The focus on status and accomplishment can obscure more important facts of life like well-being, relationships, and personal development. Gulati offers solutions to these problems, including setting time limits for social media use, curating one's feed to include more realistic and diversified information, and developing real relationships offline. These tactics seek to foster a positive relationship with digital platforms and lessen the detrimental effects of social comparison. According to Daniel Gulati argument, social comparison on Facebook might exacerbate users' sentiments of inadequacy and happiness and unhappiness. Gulati offers insights into the intricate relationships between social media use and personal well-being in modern culture by looking at the mechanics of comparison, the selective nature of online sharing, and the psychological ramification. His approach promotes thoughtful consideration of how digital platforms affect how people see themselves and other people. Daniel Gulati provides several important arguments and observations to back up his assertion that social media sites like Facebook contribute to a skewed perception of reality. He draws attention to the fact that Facebook users publish information on the platform only seldom and mostly about good things in their lives, such trips, accomplishment, and noteworthy occasions. This leads to a distorted representation of reality, where the difficult or unremarkable parts of life are frequently left out and only the greatest moments are emphasized. Others are given a skewed perspective by this selective sharing, one that does not adequately represent the range of human experiences. He talks about how people edit their profiles to show their social network an idealized picture of themselves. This entails selective profile photographs with code, creating clever status updates and applying aesthetic filters on photos, an artificial portrayal of identity that might not be in line with the complexity and realities of daily life is facilitated by this kind of curating. Gulati contends that Facebook posts' inherent nature promotes personal comparison. Users may compare their own life negatively to those of their friends or acquaintances who post about pleasant occasion, vacations, or promotions, which can make them feel inadequate or unsatisfied. Social media contacts with others might skew one's perspective of their own accomplishment and happiness in comparison to others. Users of social networking sites like Facebook seek approval of validation from their peers by leaving likes, comments, and shares. This platform functions as a feedback loop. This reinforces the tendency to provide a polished and idealized picture of reality by encouraging user to share information that receives good feedback from their network. Their never-ending loop of seeking approval can lead to inflated ideas about the lives of others and one's own value. Feedback loop. Gulati bases his claims on psychological analysis and research. Long-term exposure to idealized photos and experiences on social media has been linked in studies to elevate anxiety, depressive symptoms, and low self-esteem. The impact of social media on users' views and emotions is highlighted by this empirical data. Gulati frequently illustrates how social media can skew people's ideas of reality with anecdotes from his own life and observation. He offers specific instances of how people can fall into the trap of negatively comparing themselves to carefully managed online personas by sharing reflections on his own experiences as well as those of others. Daniel Gulati uses evidence from empirical research, curated portrayals of identities, comparative dynamics of posts, the feedback loop of validation. Selective online sharing, first-hand observation of user behavior. Behavior to bolster his argument that social media platforms like Facebook contribute to distorted perception of reality. His work highlights the intricate relationship that exists between personal views of digital platforms, highlighting the importance of exercising critical consciousness, thoughtful interaction with social media. Examples and examples and analysis of ways in which social media sites like Facebook lead to skewed understanding of reality as well as the effects of platforms have on people mental health and general well-being of society. Example of selective sharing. Example as user shares pictures from their far-flung trips featuring opulent lodgings and breathtaking scenery. This simply accentuate the most thrilling and pleasurable parts of their journey, while sharing updates on their encounters and travels. Analysis: sharing content so selectively. Share only shares picture from their trips. Share only share only pleasurable parts of their journey. While sharing updates on the analysis, sharing content so selectively can give the appearance that their life is full of travel and relaxation, which could make friends and followers feel inferior or jealous of their own relatively boring lives. Inferior or of their own relatively or jealousy jealousy of their own relatively boring lives. This might exacerbate emotions of discontent and self-doubt in those who think their own lives aren't as fascinating or rewarding as they would like. Self-doubt. Example of curated profiles. Example of curated profiles. In order to project a project image, project a perfect image of oneself, a person painstakingly curates their profile. They don't discuss any personal difficulties or disappointments. Instead, they share accomplishment, update their status with a good news, and upload pretty pictures. Analysis based on this carefully chosen profile. One could assume that the person has a wonderful existence free from hardships. Those who see this profile could feel under pressure to keep up a similar front because they think that showing their weakness will make them less successful or respected in society. As people try to live up to the inflated expectations placed by their virtual selves, this can eventually cause feelings of loneliness and anxiety. Example of comparative dynamics. Example of comparative An example might be a person seeing several posts from friends commemorating life events like engagement. Comparative dynamics, like a friend posts from friends, post of friends in engagement, job promotions, or new residences. Lenses. These posts frequently receive a large number of likes. Receive large number of likes and comments, demonstrating broader acceptance and admiration. Demonstrating broad acceptance and admiration. Analysis: people may compare their own advancement negatively if they are constantly exposed to such encouraging stories and accomplishments. Even when they have achieved success, they could feel unworthy or unsatisfied. In contrast, unworthy and unsatisfied. In contrast to other, in contrast to others, this comparison dynamic can damage one's sense of self and feed a vicious loop of looking beyond oneself for approval rather than inside oneself. Implications for individual mental health. Implications of for individual mental health. Impact: external exposure to romanticized photos and events on social media. Exposure to romanticized photos and events on social media. Events on social media can lead to detrimental effects on can lead to detrimental effects on mental health, included including including elevated anxiety, depressive symptoms, and low self-esteem. Analysis: people could internalize irrational expectation and express pressure to live up to the idealized versions of happiness and success that they see online. This can lead to persistent feeling of dissatisfaction and comparison. Expectations and experience pressures to live up to the idealized version of happiness can lead to dissatisfaction, satisfaction, and comparison, which over time can weaken mental health. Which over time can weaken mental health. Implication for societal well-being. Impact: rather from fostering real connection and empathy, the proliferation and well-manicured online persons may be contributing factor to a culture of superficiality and competition of societal level. Analysis: people perception and interactions with one another are shaped by social media platforms such as Facebook, which in turn impact society in standards. The focus on projecting this rather from impact is competition at at the societal level. Analysis, impact, society, standards. The focus on projecting a polished image. Polished image and accomplishment may override other important metrics of success, which could jeopardize real connection. Polished image can jeopardize real connections. And support from the community. This can make people less empathetic and cohesive, which makes it harder to build deep relationships and promote well-being among everybody. The analysis of and examples show how social media sites like Facebook lead to skewed understanding of reality, which affects people's mental health as well as the general welfare of society. In order to promote a healthier digital culture and improve overall well-being, it is clear that critical awareness and mindful engagement with digital platforms are crucial. This is demonstrated by highlighting the selective nature of online sharing, the comparative dynamics and of posts and their implication on self-esteem and social norms. Implications of social norms. In order to promote healthier in to promote health healthier digital culture and improve overall well-being, it is clear that critical awareness to promote culture critical to promote culture healthier digital culture, it is clear that critical awareness it is clear that critical awareness and mindful engagement with are crucial. Critical awareness and mindful engagement meant with digital platforms are crucial. This is demonstrated by highlighting the selective nature of online sharing, the comparative dynamics and of post and implication of self-esteem and social norms. In his essay, Gulati explores concept of highlight reel phenomena on Facebook. Explain what Gulati means by the highlight reel, how it influences users' perception of themselves and others. How does this phenomenon relate the broader theories in social psychology, social comparison theory? Critically evaluate Gulati's argument with reference to relevant research and real-world examples. In highlighted reel phenomena, as described in Daniel Gulati's essay, is the propensity of users of social media sites like Facebook to share and promote only the happy aspects of their lives, downplaying or ignoring the less positive or difficult times. In order to portray a polished and idealized picture of their lives, users curate their posts. This frequently entails exchanging success, joys, getaways, thrilling encounters, and landmarks. These carefully designed postings aim to convey a feeling of accomplishment, contentment, and dissatisfaction. Accomplishment and satisfaction. To convey a feeling of accomplishment, contentment, and satisfaction. User may begin negatively comparing their own lives to those of their peers and acquaintances. When they often view these well-chosen posts, people may feel inadequate or unsatisfied as a result of this, considering their own experiences and accomplishment to be inferior to the romanticized portrayals seen online. The highlight reel affects how people view other people as well. People may get the idea that their friends have flawless or glamorous lives after seeing these well chosen posts. This may lead to a mistaken belief that one is happier, more accomplishment, and more content than oneself. Regular exposure to these glorified portrayals on Facebook may exacerbate psychological problems like low self-worth, heightened worry, and inadequate sentiments, unrealistic and expectation of happiness, unrealistic expectations of happiness. And success may get internalized by users, creating pressure to live up to the expectations. The highlighted reel phenomena feeds into the dynamics of social comparison, where people gauge for their own satisfaction and value by comparing themselves to others. Instead of concentrating on real personal development and well-being, this can result in a vicious cycle of pursuing attention. Cycle of pursuing attention and validation. Through social media connections, the highlight reel has the potential to foster a culture of rivalry and superficiality on social media platforms over time. When people put on a good front before being vulnerable and sharing real experiences, it could damage real connections and relationships. Daniel Gulati investigation of the highlight reel phenomena demonstrates how selective sharing and comparison on social media, especially Facebook, distorts people's impression of reality. Through comprehension of this phenomena, individuals can cultivate a more balanced relationship between digital participation and personal well-being. By becoming more aware of the curated nature of online personas, a key idea is in social psychology that was first presented by Lynn Festinger in 1954. Social comparison theory is in line with Daniel Gulati's investigation of the Facebook highlight reel phenomena. Readers will gain a better understanding of Gulati's views by critically analyzing them in light of social comparison theory. With evidence from pertinent research and real world situations, according to the social comparison theory, people judge their own social and personal value by contrasting themselves with other people. This comparison can be made both upward to the people who are taught to be a better position and downward to those who are taught to be a worse position. In a worse position, Gulati extends that by highlighting their greatest events of accomplishment, Facebook user participate in selective self-presentation. This is consistent with the social comparison theory because people tend to show themselves well in order to improve their social status. Social comparison theory states that people's perception of themselves can be influenced by exposure to idealized posts and photos. Users may experience emotions of inadequacy or discontent if they believe that they are less successful or happy than their peers. He talked about how the highlighted reel phenomena encourages user comparison. Their social comparison process may be exacerbated by the pressure they have to live up to the ideals of happiness and success that other users of the platform have established. Research has indicated that regular use of social media sites such as Facebook can lead to detrimental psychological effects associated with social comparison. Verdun et al. 2017, for example, discovered that passive Facebook use, that is browsing through others people's postings without engaging, was linked to higher levels of envy and worse levels of well-being. Examples from everyday life show how Facebook highlight reel might affect users' opinion. People could feel inferior, for instance, if they contrast their own accomplishment or way of life with the supposedly ideal lives that their peers post online. This could start a vicious cycle of insecurity and unhappiness. Although Gulati does a good job of showing how selective representation leads to skewed impression, it's vital to remember that not allow all users act in this way consistently. Some people might discuss real life issues and hardships are casting doubt in the idea of an entirely managed online persona. According to social comparison theory, the effects of comparison might differ according to personal characteristics and cultural norms, addressing how cultural settings affect social media use and opinions of oneself and others could strengthen Gulati's argument. Daniel Gulati offers insightful information about how social media platforms affect personal well-being and social comparison processes in his investigation of the Facebook highlight reel phenomena. Gulati draws attention to the widespread impacts of well-managed online identities or on users' perceptions and psychological well-being. By highlighting these effects and supporting his claims with empirical research and real-world examples that are consistent with social comparison theory. Even though Gulati was social uses social comparison theory to study the highlight reel phenomena in an efficient way, more research and sophisticated grasp of contextual and cultural aspects are necessary to fully assess the phenomena's effect on people and societies in the digital era. Daniel Gulati offers a number of solutions to counteract Facebook detrimental impacts, especially when it comes to the highlight reel phenomena and its implication on mental health. Let's access these tactics in light of the viability and efficacy of social media uses for both personal and professional purposes in the current digital era. Because social media is so ingrained in everyday life, setting time limits for its use can be difficult. Facebook is widely used by people for business networking, marketing, and communication in addition to personal connections. According to research, well-being can be enhanced by decreasing passive use such as mindless scrolling and as meaningful relations. Mind decreasing passive use. Decreasing passive use. Mindless scrolling and increasing active involvement such as meaningful relationships. And increasing active involvement such as meaningful involvement in meaningful relationship. Using productivity tools or setting time restriction might help people efficiently manage how much time they spend on social media. Time restrictions. Using productivity tools or setting time restrictions might help people efficiently manage how much time they spend on social media. How does selective self-representation on social media platform influence users' perception of themselves and others? They feel low self-doubt, jealousy, uh, and comparison, sad, miserable. Selective self-presentation on social media platforms in which users decide which facts of their lives to emphasize and first understand what is selective self-presentation. In this, users decide which facts of their lives to emphasize and share has a big impact on how people view themselves and other people. And they don't show hard the struggles of their lives. They only show the positive aspects of life. Difficult times. They did not share the difficult times. They share only positive times. As this is highlighted real or self-presentation. Selective self-presentation. People view themselves and other people on social media. Users frequently highlight their accomplishments, joyous occasions, and fulfilling experiences. This selective sharing results in an idealized self-image that does not fully capture all the facts of a person's life, including difficulties, hardships, and everyday experiences. People may draw negative comparisons between their own lives and the well-curated posts of friends and acquaintances that highlight their accomplishment and happy occasions. Envy, inadequacy, or sense of missing out, FOMO, fear of missing out, sense of missing out may result from this. FOMO may result from this. Based only on what is posted online, users may believe that others are leading more prosperous or joyful lives. Living others that others are leading more prosperous or joyful lives than themselves. Users' self-esteem may be impacted by constant exposure to idealized posting and photographs. If their personal accomplishment or experiences fall short of those displayed online, they could feel inadequate due to the pressure to live up to the expectations placed by others on social media. Selective self-presentation affects how people see themselves as well as how they see other people. Based on the positive information published on social media, users may conclude that everyone else is happier, more successful, or living more fascinating lives. This may lead to a skewed understanding of world and human relationship. Long-term exposure to idealized images on social media may be linked to detrimental psychological effects like low self-esteem, elevated elevated anxiety, and depressive symptoms. According to research, this is especially true for people who frequently compare themselves to other people online. The focus on maintaining a professional online image can sabotage real connections and relationships. Interpersonal relationships may suffer as a result of user prioritizing the creation of an image that will elicit likes and positive feedback over the disclosure of authentic experience and weaknesses. By presenting an idealized picture of life, selective self-presentation on social media sites like Facebook affect users' opinion of both themselves and other people. This phenomena emphasizes the intricate relationship between digital identities and psychological well-being, and can lead to social comparison feelings and of inadequacy and difficulties in establishing true connection. What studies does Gulati suggest for mitigating the negative effects of Facebook use? Daniel Gulati makes a number of recommendations for reducing Facebook detrimental effects, especially when it comes to the psychological implications he emphasizes in his essay. Gulati suggests establishing time limits on how long one spends scrolling through social media. This entails cutting back on passive consumption and designated particular times for interaction. He suggests that user tailor their social media feeds by unfollowing on hiding posts from accounts that frequently make them feel inadequate or depressed. Unfollowing or hiding posts from account that frequently make them feel inadequate or depressed. As a result, there may be an increase in the positive and encouraging online atmosphere. Gulati stresses the value of devoting time and energy to establishing and preserving offline relationships, deeper emotional connections, and sense of fulfillment that may be absent from digital contacts can be obtained through face-to-face conversation. He exhorts users to consider the impact that using social media has on their emotional condition. This entails identifying the emergence of sentiments of jealousy, comparison, or discontent and proactively addressing them by restricting exposure to content that triggers such emotions. Restricting exposure to content that triggers comparison, jealousy, or discontent. Gulati promotes the idea that in social media connections, quality should come before quantity, rather than chasing likes and comments to feel validated. He advises concentrating on developing deep relationships with friends, family, on focus or concentrate on developing deep relationship with friends and family, friends and family on social media and offline. Gulati suggests stepping away from social media completely on occasion. Those who participate in this digital detox, those who participate in digital detox are able to reestablish their connection with technology, resume offline activities, and obtain new insight on the function of social media in their lives. As theoretically helpful as these tactics may be, their actual views may differ based on personal circumstances, work related demands, and social media users norms in the community. Gulati stresses the value of Gulati stresses the value of devoting time and energy to establishing and preserving offline relationship, deeper emotional connection, deeper emotional connections, and sense of fulfillment, and a sense of full fulfillment that may be absent from fulfillment that may be absent from digital context can be obtained through face-to-face conversation. Fulfillment can be obtained through face to face conversations. face-to-face conversation. According to Gulati, what role does envy play in the context of social media? Daniel Gulati thinks that jealousy is a major factor. When it comes to social media, especially its sites like Facebook, when people contrast their own experiences, accomplishment, and lives with those of others as represented on social media, envy results. Constant exposure to well chosen content, which frequently showcase the greatest moments and accomplishment of others, is made possible by social media. Users may consequently draw negative comparisons. Users may consequently draw negative comparisons between their own lives and the ostensibly ideal lives of other. Comparisons between their own lives and others. On social media, people frequently post an idealized picture of themselves, highlighting their travels, relationships, successes, and material belongings. This may lead to inflated expectations and make other people feel inadequate. This may lead inflated expectations and make others feel inadequate. Social media envy can lead to a decrease in happiness and life satisfaction. Can lead to decrease decrease in happiness and life satisfaction. People who are constantly exposed to the accomplishment and experiences of others may begin to feel inferior to them. On social media, envy might appear as sentiments of insecurity, resentments, or jealousy. The psychological well being and self esteem of an individual might be compromised by these emotions. Gulati suggests that in order to manage envy, one should be aware of their emotional response when using social media. Choose supportive and positive people to surround themselves with online, and acknowledge that social media often presents an idealized and selective picture of the world. According to Daniel Gulati, one of the primary negative emotions associated with excessive Facebook uses envy. Gulati suggests that managing envy on social media involves competing aggressively with others, ignoring others' achievement. Be mindful of emotional reactions. Posting more about oneself. Be mindful of emotional reactions. How does Gulati propose individuals can reduce the negative impacts of Facebook use? By spending more time on Facebook, by actively engaging with content. Option C, by comparing oneself with more other, by avoiding social interactions. Negative impacts of Facebook use. By spending more time? No. By comparing oneself more with others? By avoiding social interaction? No. By actively engaging with content? According to Gulati, excessive Facebook use can contribute to feelings of fulfillment? No. Empowerment? No. Serenity? No. Isolation? Gulati suggests that curating one's social media feed can help in decreasing social comparison, increasing envy? No. Avoiding all social media use, becoming more competitive? No. Decreasing social comparison. According to Daniel Gulati, one of the primary reasons Facebook contribute to feelings of misery is facilitating meaningful connections, providing a platform for creative expression, triggering envy through social comparison, promoting offline social interactions, triggering envy through social comparisons. Gulati suggests that managing envy on Facebook involves unfollowing friends who post frequently, engaging in more online debates, comparing oneself favorably to others, being mindful of emotional response. According to Gulati, which studies can help mitigate the negative effects of Facebook use, increase passive scrolling, limiting time spent on platform, competing for attention with friends, posting more frequently about personal achievements, limiting time spent on platform. What does Gulati suggest about impact of envy on Facebook users? It improves self-esteem and confidence. It fosters supportive friends. It can lead to negative emotional states. It has no effect on social interaction. No, it can lead to negative emotional states. According to Gulati, actively engaging with content Facebook can increase feelings of isolation, foster sense of community and connection, decrease envy among friends, encourage engaging with content on Facebook can actively engaging, increasing feeling of isolation, no, decrease envy among friends, encourage offline interactions, foster a sense of community and connection. Some previous questions. Author Daniel Gulati blogs for author Daniel Harvard Business Review. Tech and Daniel Gulati is a professional tech entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. How does social networking create an online culture of competition and comparison? According to Daniel Gulati, highlighted real social comparison theory, feeling of jealousy and low self-doubt, low self-esteem, self-doubt, etc. Thank you. Thank you everyone. Meet you in the next class in One World, One Culture. Topic is One World, One Culture.